What up, internets? My name is Steve and I'm the HypedCheeZeHead. I got one question for you. Are you ready for some football? You're damn right I am. Alright, but no, in all sincerity, this is my first episode, so I figured it'd be appropriate to do it on the Afl Merger. If you don't know what it is, then you come to the right place. You don't give a goddamn about me though, so I might as well just start this. The NFL was consistently fighting off competition. This was nothing new for them. But there was a gentleman by the name of Lamar Hunt who wanted to either do one of two things. He wanted to either A, own an expansion franchise in Dallas, or B, co-own the Chicago Cardinals with a man named Bud Adams. The NFL didn't give a goddamn about either of these things at the time and said no. So he was like, fuck it, I'll make my own league. That's exactly what he did. Apparently the NFL did eventually approach him about this expansion team, but by then he was like, nope, fuck it, I already got my own shit going, so that's what he did. So by September 9th, 1960, the AFL had 8 teams. They had the Boston Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Titans, who are soon then to be the Jets, the Houston Oilers, who are now the Texans, the Dallas Texans, who are now the Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, the Oakland Raiders, and the probably soon to be again LA Chargers. The NFL refused to believe that the AFL can compete with them because who the hell can? They're the NFL. It's hard to compete with something that's already famous. It did help, though, when they signed 75% of the NFL's first-round draft picks in 1960, thus beginning the trend of the AFL starting to get under the NFL's skin. They moved the Chargers and the Texans to non-NFL markets, thus expanding the brand, excuse me. The Titans were rebranded as the Jets, as well as signing that Joe Namath fellow. The NBC television station picked them up for 5 years, $36 million. The AFL also allowed NBC to stick cameras all over the field instead of just in the middle of the field like how the NFL had it. If you didn't know that, the NFL had one single camera in the middle of the field, whereas when the AFL came in NBC's contract, they allowed these cameras to be set up all over the place, and including the sidelines, which that's incredible to me because that's how we watch football today still, so yeah, enjoy that shit. There are other notable things that the AFL brought, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, they say kickers don't matter. A man named Pete Gogolak was the whole reason shit really got going. You have no idea the signing of a kicker would be such a big deal, but it was an unwritten rule for one brand, we'll say the NFL, to not take the other brand's AFL or vice versa's players. Well, that's exactly what Pete Gogolak's going from the Buffalo Bills to the New York Giants did. The man barely even had to change school districts, and he had no idea what he's done. The aftermath was utter chaos. Teams were bidding on college players. Teams were trying to steal players left and right. Hell, the weekend before the draft, the NFL representatives would take these players out to dinner, take you to the arcade, do whatever the hell you want, go get you a hooker, who the hell knows what they would do, but just to keep them away from the AFL's executives. And that's, wow, ridiculous. I'm sure the AFL did things as well that was sketchy, but I didn't see anything in my information, so. But hey. They knew that they were killing each other. That's exactly what they were doing. They were touring each other apart. They were going broke from all of these biddings, overhyping or overpaying these first-round draft picks. Imagine your first-round draft pick, Oakland Raiders, every single year that turns out to be a bust. Yeah, it was even worse. So yeah, they were killing each other. Decided to do something about it, so they had a championship game. It's called the AFL NFL Championship Game. The first two were, of course, won by the Green Bay Packers. I don't mean to brag, I try to be unbiased on this show, but the third was played by the Baltimore Colts and the New York Jets, with that bad boy Joe Namath. And yep, he shined, and finally the AFL was kind of seen as an equal. Just kinda though, because the NFL still didn't want to merge with them because they're still the NFL. But eventually they did get things signed. Al Davis was very pissed off about it. We'll Probably get into that eventually on another side topic. But yeah, the AFL was absorbed into the NFL, adding the Baltimore Colts, Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, joining the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals and the 8 other AFL teams, and becoming what we know today as the American Football Conference. Welcome back to football, everybody.